Hey guys, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Day in Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So the shop is looking kind of empty. So we actually ended up having two cars leave today. Originally I thought one was going to leave today and one was going to leave next week, maybe Monday or something. But as planned, the turquoise blue bus left today. I think I took a video of it driving off. I'll post that up a little later. And then likewise, the EV Beetle also left today. So, and I think I also got a video of that one leaving. So, yeah, two cars down, but not to worry. Coming in place of those two cars is actually three cars. And we did sort of have a spot open. We hadn't really been using the middle spot right here. So when the shop is full, we've got four cars across this way, and then three across here, and then three across here. So we had only been having two across here. So this double cab and then the turquoise bus was sitting here, and then we had three cars across here. But anyway, so yeah, so let's see what's coming. So tomorrow, Saturday, is supposed to come basically a full build, which is a 6323 window, mouse gray, so freshly out of paint, but still on casters. And I think the owner has a lot of sub-assemblies and stuff done. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, pretty much assembling the whole thing. Again, some stuff may already be assembled. I honestly don't remember if he said like the front suspension was already put together. Regardless, it's still a huge job, even if a lot of that stuff is sub-assemblies are done. So that one is coming tomorrow. Monday is supposed to come I think it's a 69, I think, bay window bus that was in the same family since day one. It was bought new by the dad in Germany, and he drove it around over there. I'm not sure what the circumstances are there. I'll try and find out more there. But yeah, he had it over there for a while, brought the bus over here. The family's had it for many years, and then it's been parked for many, many years. So they're bringing that in for a full restoration. That one is coming from, I think, Fresno area. The 23 window that's coming tomorrow is coming from Seattle area. And then a week from tomorrow is coming all the way from Hawaii, a 54 barn door right-hand drive combi for not a full restoration, but a lot of stuff like engine, I think transmission, brakes, probably some wiring, maybe some cool accessories. Wants us to make it what's already a really cool car, make it even more bitchin' and awesome and fun to drive and reliable and all that good stuff. So yeah, we got those three coming, and then there's others right behind them in the queue. So yeah, we're staying full here. So thank goodness for that. Cars leaving, cars coming in about as fast as we can keep up with it. So other than those two cars which left today, which consumed a lot of my day, the EV car had to kind of teach them how to use the car, and the gentleman who had it built, he doesn't speak English, and so he had his wife with him who was sort of the translator, so kind of had to go through the car and how to operate it and so on. So I spent quite a bit of time with them, which of course I was happy to do. And then likewise with the bus, we went over it quite a bit of detail this morning before he took off on that. But what I did get done today is a little bit, not as much as I would have liked to, but a little bit on the 63 ragtop here. So went ahead and got him a new battery today. We tested the one that he had, and well, I don't know why I'm even walking over here. It's not like you can see it, but yeah, I tried to charge the one that he had, and it was no good. So bought him a new one. So Superstart, I think, is the brand, 19L 6 volts. So that's the right size for these cars. It fits nicely under the cover with the strap and all that good stuff. So picked him up a new 19L and hooked up his heater boxes, and yeah, cleaned his battery area on the floor of the car there, got that all hooked up. And I actually got the car started and ran it for a few seconds, not real long, because what I noticed pretty quick was that the accelerator pump circuit was not working. Now, the owner bought the carburetor and the 40 horse from a well-known guy who rebuilds those. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to, sort of throw anyone under the bus. And I think he got the coil from him too. Anyway, yeah, the accelerator pump was not working at all. Like not even so much as a drop, which is pretty disappointing. But stuff happens, I suppose. So here it is, and took me a while to diagnose it, but basically. The way the accelerator pump circuit works on these. So here's a carb that we have that we're kind of in the middle of rebuilding. So probably hard to see, but right down in, let's see here, let's get some more light. Maybe that's better. Right down in there at the bottom of this little boss here, there is a hole. And then underneath this little brass bit here is a little check valve, and then on this side of all that is where the diaphragm goes, and you can see this hole. That's what leads to this little check valve and stuff over here. And then you can also see this passage that runs over here and then up and then ultimately through the squirter jet, right? So what the check valve does is when the diaphragm is pulling this way, moving this way, it sucks gas from the float bowl into this chamber, and then when you go and step on the accelerator and the diaphragm moves that way, the check valve closes from preventing fuel from going back into the fuel bowl, and then its only choice is to go along here and up and squirt through the squirter. So I checked out on his, I checked out the diaphragm, everything. It looked okay. And I knew basically, as it should have, because he bought a rebuilt carburetor. But the check valve was actually working as far as if I put pressure on this side, then it was preventing anything from going back toward the float bowl. And then if I put vacuum on this side, it would pull like it's supposed to from this way. But what it wasn't doing was it wasn't allowing any flow in this direction. And so the first thing that I did was I pulled off the little squirter and made sure it wasn't clogged. This thing has a tiny, tiny hole in it, and it was actually not clogged, which meant that the stoppage was pretty much in this path here somewhere, which is pretty bewildering. I don't know that I've seen one of those clogged before. Usually this thing is clogged. But anyway, I tried with compressed air and carburetor cleaner and stuff like that to get this unclogged. And finally I was like blowing air on it basically through this passage. So compressed air, unregulated compressed air. So probably, north of 100 PSI, and no flow was coming out of here. And then all of a sudden I heard this little pop, and then flow started coming through here. So I don't know what was in there on his carburetor, but there was something clogging up this circuit here. So after I got that unclogged, I tested it out and it works great. So anyone going through a carburetor, especially one that you don't know if it works or not, or it's been sitting for a long time and you want to check it out, you can actually test out the accelerator pump on the bench. So usually what I do is with the top of the carburetor off, I'll just go ahead and put a little gas in here in the float bowl. You don't need much. Really, all you have to do, that hole that I pointed to you earlier, which is kind of at the bottom of this thing here, you basically just have to cover that, because again, that's the inlet to the accelerator pump. And then essentially, if you operate the thing a few times, it'll pull gas in here and then push it out through here. So now you can see if I do this, which operates the diaphragm here, there's flow. So yeah, pretty much it's working now. But being as how that was clogged, I went ahead and I removed all the jets from the carburetor, completely disassembled it, and then blew out everything with compressed air and carburetor cleaner and everything, and make sure that there is not something else in some other circuit. So kind of a pain, and I feel kind of bad for the customer since he bought a newly rebuilt, beautiful carburetor, and then he's having to pay me to fix someone else's work. But I guess these things happen. These are pretty old parts, but I would have thought that the guy that rebuilt it probably would have bench tested it, but this was not bench tested because pretty sure he would have caught that. Anyway, it's all good now, so it'll go back on the car. Maybe tomorrow, Saturday, I plan to be here and see about getting that car running. I do have to do a cam break-in on that car because the cam and lifters are actually new on it. The old ones, I think, were wore or had some issue. So this one needs a cam break-in. So that'll happen. And then this car, as an update, unfortunately, we had the case that he had for it. We welded it, and I guess during the process of either welding it or preheating the case half to weld it, the case must have warped pretty bad, because when the engine builder went and reassembled the motor, it was really tight. The crank, essentially, the main bearings. So, you know, apparently it warped pretty bad. And so that case was pretty wore out. We probably should have just tossed that case in the first place because it already had 2 align bores on it. But, you know, me trying to save the customer some money, it didn't seem like it needed a 3rd align bore. And, you know, the motor, it's pretty mild. It's like a 2-liter, but not a real hot motor. So we thought, you know, let's use that case and save him, you know, $1,500 or whatever. But, you know, yeah, now it's just, it's not usable. Now that we had to repair that hole, that leak that it had in it, that was the nail in that thing's coffin. So yeah, unfortunately had to buy a new case. Luckily we were able to find a magnesium case, because as I mentioned before, the aluminum cases, which have a, aluminum cases are what's called raised roof, where all these surfaces up here are basically higher so that you can stuff a bigger crank in them and have clearance. What that means, though, is that means that none of the tin fits worth a damn, and you have to go and like beat and trim the tin so that it'll actually sit down with the generator or alternator sitting down on the cradle. Otherwise, the thing sits, you know, like a 1/4 inch above the stand for it. And he's, of course, got this bitchin' Van Halen fan shroud. I'm like, I'm not touching that fan shroud. I am not fitting this fan shroud to an aluminum case, because I'd have to be slicing and dicing on the bottom here. There's no way. So luckily we were able to actually find a magnesium case. So this should fit perfect on there with no, you know, no screwing around with this gorgeous paint job. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of the delay on this car. So it's kind of sitting here in limbo, waiting for its motor to be rebuilt. You know, maybe in the next week or so we'll get it built and get it back, and then get this puppy going. So that's it for today, guys. I think I mentioned tomorrow I'll be here. I do have to be here at minimum to receive the 23 window mouse gray bus that's coming in. And again, I'll probably get back to the 63 there in the corner and get it running, and maybe do like the cam break-in and stuff like that. I may also stop by Proformance tomorrow. I need to buy a non-doghouse oil cooler for this one. I think he said he's going to be in tomorrow. And then I can go ahead and assemble this motor from long block to motor. By the way, this is the intake manifold back from ceramic coating. We went with a color called tungsten. I'm pretty happy with the color. Could maybe be a little bit darker, but I'm okay with it. It actually looks pretty good. So that's what we went with. So picked that up today, and also got delivered all the paint here, which is for the 67 Beetle, the ruby red Beetle. That's the paint for it. So it's there. So now we just got to finish getting all our preparation work done and our ventilation system, and then paint that thing. So that is it for today, everyone. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.